Hi, I'm Ricardo.
Hi, and I'm Shannon.
Welcome to Tips, a show where we talk about traveling, internships, professional programs, study tours, and anything related to studying in Australia. Today, we're going to talk about tips for people migrating with families. So, what's your advice or thoughts on that, Shannon?
Well, thanks, Ricardo. Yeah, this is pretty common, I guess, is people making decisions, what you might say is a later point in life after they've had children to migrate to Australia. And I guess like I said, it is common, and it's one of those things that is a big step for someone. I mean, obviously, if you're in your home country, you've got your kids, you're in a stable and probably successful job that you've been in, you've established your career. To make that step is a big thing. But a lot of people we see start doing that, and the main reasons, or one of the main reasons we see or hear, is opportunities for their kids and feeling like there's more opportunities for their children within Australia, and safety and things like that. And I guess that when it comes to tips and what they can actually do is obviously doing a little bit of research around Australia and trying to understand what the different cities in Australia are like, which cities might have more opportunities for your occupation and stuff, because it is important to, I guess, land somewhere that you're going to feel at home, that you're going to be able to continue your career or have an opportunity to continue your career. So I think the first tip would be doing a little bit of research, at least online, to understand it. And I'd say coupled with that would be getting professional advice at that point as well, because obviously we only know what we know and we don't know what we don't know. And when it comes to making a big step like that with a family, convincing your wife or your husband that, to come along with you, you want to make sure that you've got the best advice up front, and that, you're making a step in the right direction with as much information as possible.
Yeah, I think a friend of mine who did it recently, I think obviously it depends on the amount of money you have, but something that I thought was very good from his side is that he brought his wife and kids on vacation to Australia, got to travel to the different cities, saw the different lifestyles, the climate, what the city offers as well, and then made an informed decision in that way. Like, I know that then later on, depending on requirements and paperwork, you don't really have so much choice sometimes, but it's a good way to come and experience things, because I think some people start to decide, okay, what do I want, Australia or Europe or Canada or things like that, and every country offers so many things that I think the more you can experience, the better and easier decisions you can make.
And nothing beats seeing something firsthand, touching it, feeling it, smelling it. Like, that makes so much of a difference when trying to understand what a place is like. I mean, I say research because not everyone has the opportunity to travel necessarily first and bring their whole family. But if you can do that, 100%, because then you can actually get more of a feel for a place and see how you all relate to that place as well. 100%.
Yeah. And I think planning is essential in this case, because you're coming with so many people that it may take years in the making.
Yep. And the other thing I would say for people migrating with families is take action fast. When it comes to migration, especially through the skilled program, there are age limits, even with the business investor and business innovation streams for successful entrepreneurs. There's sort of age limits. They're a little bit softer when it comes to that field, but with skilled migration, the top limit is 44 years old. With business innovation, it's usually 50, 55. But taking action. If you sit on it for 5 years, you might miss the window that you don't know is actually, or the door is actually closing, and you might miss it if you sit on it for too long. So I think taking action, once you've made the decision, taking action is important, and getting professional advice at that point.
And in your experience as a migration expert, do you think people apply from their home country, or once they come as students, let's say, to Australia?
They can do both. And I mean, I had an interview similar to this for a bit longer last week with for one of our clients who you also know, and it was a great process of going through and asking what made that decision. And in that case, we applied from them directly from overseas, from Colombia, to come to Australia. And based on age, that was probably the only way that we were able to do it. So it can go either way. And I think it comes down to a case by case, depending on how old you are, how young your kids are, things like that before coming.
Okay, perfect. So to wrap up this episode, what would be your conclusions?
So top tips is do some research first, try and understand the country, the different places within the country. If, like you said, you have the opportunity, come and visit, get a feel for it, obviously, because it's easy to make a decision once you've seen how good Australia is. Might be a little bit biased there.
It's true.
And secondly, get advice up front. See if it's necessary for you to actually apply directly from overseas, or if you can come into Australia first and study, which one's going to provide the best opportunity for you.
And start actioning as soon as possible, because you never know what can be a stop.
Exactly.
You need to just start as soon as possible. Okay, thank you. You can find me as Ricardo Gutierrez, Betsy Accommodation Solutions, or Innovator Diaries in LinkedIn. You can follow or connect with me, so feel free to do so.
My name's Shannon Semenikow, and I'm the founder and CEO of Education and Migration Services Australia, and our website is emsaus.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks, Ricardo.